It stands for Eliminating Racial Disparity and Disproportionality. The purpose of the meeting is that the federal government and the state begin to do work with county, state, federal jurisdictions to take a look at child welfare and to see which ethnic groups were overrepresented, which were underrepresented, and try to get to the root cause of why. Then to look at the treatment of those groups, like disparate treatment.
The group was formed in 2007 as a result of looking at our data and realizing that we had approximately 3 times 7% more children in the child welfare system than exist in the Orange County population. So we formed the group to begin to address that problem.
The federal government, like around 2007, began to measure states and counties to look at why are children in care, why do they remain in care longer, some kids more than others. And they discovered that there are certain ethnic groups, particularly African American and Latino youth, who tend to be more represented in the system, and they tend to stay a little longer. For instance, in Orange County, African American children represent about 1% of the population, the general population, but in child welfare, child abuse reports are filed at about approximately 4%, and then children in foster care are represented at that time we started at about 10 to 14%. So to kind of get to, well, why does this look like this? Is one group more prone to abuse their children any more than another group? And I think there's data and statistics that would suggest not. So if that is true, then why are these kids coming into the system at a greater frequency? Why do they stay?
When the police did a parachute case, and what that means is when there's a call, someone makes a call, say to the police department, oh, this kid is being abused or neglected, and the police respond and there's no social worker involved, then they can elect to bring that family or those kids into the system. And what they noticed was there were more kids of color under the parachute cases that was coming into the system. Once we started getting involved with ERDD and really talking about it and really looking at it, that number actually reduced significantly.
We actually have seen a drop in our numbers of African American children since we started this process in 2007. For example, there were about 7% children in long-term foster care when we first began. And as of 2013, we're down to 3.7% of our youth are children and black children.
I first joined ERDD maybe in 2009. I've been a co-chair since 2011. And what brought me to that, I've always had being African American, I have a lot of interest in intercultural issues. I teach in various universities about multicultural issues, and often I educate my students about issues about bias and inequality and things that are happening. And it was nice to actually be in a program that we actually, not just increasing awareness and educating, but we actually have developed programs to actually have outcomes.
ERDD was mostly spearheaded as a project from the Social Services Agency in collaboration with other community partners. ERDD is an open meeting to anybody in the community. It's you know, little by little, different organizations started showing up.
I found out about it. I had never known about it. I believe it had started probably like back in the, if I'm not mistaken, 2005 or 2006. In 2013, I had attended another meeting in the county and learned about it, and I made a special point that I wanted to attend. And then once I got involved, I saw the work they were doing. I thought that, you know, I definitely wanted to be involved.
ERDD has had a lot of subcommittee groups, and these groups like Father Engagement, we've had cultural broker programs.
The cultural broker is someone who's going to connect with the family on behalf of social services. We don't stand in a room alone anymore with our families. When a family comes into a room with us, we want to bring the cultural broker.
The ERDD actually got an award from Latino Health Access called the Ojo de Dios Award. And you're familiar with Mexican culture and Latin American culture. The Ojo de Dios is yarn weaving that is supposed to protect the children.
We look at the data of the number of children involved in our system. It requires individuals to be introspective about how they make decisions and introspective about how we work with families of color.
There are cultural things, you know. I've had clients that are they're saying like, why does this African American social worker feel that they can do this to me?
We didn't want anyone to feel that we were saying, because you know, some of it was a really touchy subject when you're talking about kids of color, when you're talking about are they staying in the system longer, and what are you doing? And we didn't want people to feel like we were accusing them of anything. What we were saying is just let's look at how we can do things differently, how we can do things that will make it better and easier for all of our young people, all of the people all of the young kids in the system, but also let's look at it. Why are they staying longer? And what is it about kids of color that we really need to look at to make this more equitable as far as being reunified with their families?
Team decision-making meetings, which are held at the intake process when the children are initially potentially removed from their families. We make extra efforts to reach out to our families of color to make sure they're at the table and that their voice is heard as the decisions are being made. So those are some of the practice changes, and those are some of the data changes that have occurred as a result of our looking at the issue.
Personal vision is to make sure that all kids of color have someone that maybe look like them, that speak like them, that they feel that they can understand and be able to give them the services and the resources that they feel that they sometimes do not get if it's someone of non-color.
I think the networking and the relationship building with the ERDD, some of the the police officers that are involved, the social workers, mental health agencies, agencies like Boys Town, just knowing some of the resources that they have, and that helps me when we get people that need help. I have other resources I can refer them to.
The solution to this problem in diminishing or decreasing that overrepresentation through healthy support systems, those systems being Latino Health Access, the Mexican Consulate, mental health, the school districts, the police department. And I can name these people or these organizations because they come to ERDD.
My vision is that we can grow, and so therefore we can tap into disparities in other avenues.
Just proud that the work has continued and that my staff and community partners saw the work as significant. We've seen the numbers go down. We've seen improvement in the lives of families and children, which was the original intent.